Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can be seated. Call for me, please.
Jason Green.
Here.
Brett Martin.
Present.
Brett Allen. Chris Springler.
Here.
Sally Knuckles. Here. Kevin Hall.
Here.
We have a vote.
And let the record show it. On the consent agenda, I'd like to break it down in two sections. Addressing the regular meeting minutes of September 19, September 25, and October 3rd. I would like to entertain a motion after you guys review that. Is there any corrections or amendments that need to be made to those three sets of meeting minutes that you guys recognize or need to change?
I move to approve consent agenda A through C.
I second it.
Is there any other discussion from the board on these three? If not, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. Make that a matter of the record. Item D, approval expenditure vouchers of October 15 and the approval of the Parks and Recs expenditures. Is there any expenditures there, Lorraine, that you need to bring to the board's attention that is out of the norm? Pertaining basically to the vouchers. And then I will have Christie visit about the Parks and Rec.
No, there's nothing. If there's anything on there, it's already been approved at another meeting. I did a now one for sanitation. And that was approved previously
Okay,
for $5,000. And then also the rain for rent, so that was dewatering the lagoons on sanitation.
okay. Anything from the board on the vouchers that concerns you that you need to ask a question on? Okay, before I entertain a motion, is there anything on the Parks and Rec expenditure vouchers, Christie, that you need to bring to the board's attention? Nothing out of the normal that I saw?
No, nothing out of the ordinary.
Just stay a status quo, moving forward kind of thing on those expenditures. Is there any questions from the trustees, the board here? On those two? Okay, hearing none, I would entertain a motion for the approval of the expenditures.
I move that we approve D and E of the consent.
Have a motion and second. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, motion carries. New business, the proposed 25 budget and set a public hearing for the adoption of the 25 budget. As mentioned, Grant, which you and I have been through it before, we can take this budget home and study it, make corrections, make suggestions, get back with Lorraine, ask questions if necessary, and then we'll set a public hearing. Based on your timeline, Lorraine, when should the public hearing?
The 19th of December.
Okay, the 19th of December, and how long does the board have to make adjustments or changes to the budget?
Till the 19th of December.
They can change up till the 19th of December.
Well, we need to approve the budget
Before the
before then,
31st.
so that we have the ability to change
Correct.
and make sure those are corrections. So generally, we set a meeting for the first week of December. That allows us to meet the deadline of, right? I mean, that's how we've
Yeah,
done in the
that's
past.
correct.
Okay,
That's correct.
Because the week before, or the meeting before that generally is around Thanksgiving, so we always bump it to that first week of
first one,
December.
so December 5th.
So I wouldn't mind putting it as an item of discussion on the workshop of the, on the next workshop in November.
Yes, it'll be on the next two workshops for
And then
sure.
we'll, Okay, trustees okay with all that?
Yeah.
Okay, and then set the public hearing.
Yeah, So I guess, do you need a motion for that?
We do.
I move to set the public hearing for December 5th.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, we'll have that public hearing on the 5th. The core policy adoption is the next item on the business. Mr. Green up there,
Yes, sir.
glad to have you in attendance. Would you explain the core policy and the direction you're advising the board to go on that, please?
I'm advising the board to approve this. Basically, what it does is it gives staff some guidance so they can answer Cora requests and follow the law. It sets out the procedure. It's generally required, just so everybody knows the rules of the game. There'll also be another one for the criminal justice records that we have, that we share with the sheriff and the municipal court. But this one, it's similar to the counties. So it's nothing new or, out of the ordinary. Staff recommends approval.
We can.
I move to adopt resolution number 10, series 2024, adopting a core policy for the town of Dove Creek.
I have a question. Do we not have a policy now?
Nope. We should have had one several years ago, but for some reason we never got around to it. We're actually seeing an uptick in Cora requests from the past. Generally what happens with a Cora request is the clerk gets it. We look at it. We contact the person who made the request and either tell them how much money they need to put on a deposit or how long it's going to take us to get the information. And then we follow the statute to determine whether or not it even exists, what they're asking for. And we move forward there. This lets the public know how to do it as well. It's instructions for the public and staff on how to approach Cora.
Okay. This seems like we did all this once.
We never done this, sir. We don't have a resolution adopting a Cora policy. And this is an updated version anyway. It's something we need to have in place. So that's how it came about.
Okay.
I will second Jason's motion.
I have Jason with a motion. I have Sally with a second. Any other further discussion on the matter here between the board before I call for the vote? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Board member resignation. Garrett Hancock, please accept my letter of resignation from the position of trustee effective immediately. I feel that it would be inappropriate to continue with my position on the board as my wife is currently serving as the interim town manager. Although I realize she may be in the role short term, we are also selling our home and will be moving outside of town limits. Serving on the board has been a challenging yet rewarding experience, and I'm looking forward to the continued improvement of the town and its infrastructure. I'd also like to say how much I appreciate the hard work and dedication you all have for the betterment of the town. Your role isn't easy and doesn't usually include a lot of positive feedback from the community. Thank you for your willingness to take complex issues and giving up your personal time to do so. Respectfully, Garrett Hancock is trustee. Reluctantly,
I moved to deny.
I would move to deny. But with him moving outside, yes. So he would no longer be eligible to serve in that capacity, as we all know. So
Yeah,
So the clock will start ticking now, and we've got how long to appoint that position?
60 days.
so we need it. By the 5th of December.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good.
Sorry about
It's not much of a motion there to accept it. Okay, going on to old business. We're looking at the employee handbook. Did we make the corrections that the trustees were asking for on the
We
handbook?
made the ones that we could do. It's still with the attorney in Grand Junction, finishing up the little loose ends on some of the questions that we had. I'm hopeful that we'll get it back soon.
Okay, so once you get that back, then the group, the trustees can look at it and make a motion at that time to
Yes,
accept it.
the 21st of November, most likely. Unless we
Okay.
want to make that workshop a board meeting on the 2nd of November.
Yeah,
I probably would make it a board meeting too, like we normally do. There's always something that comes up that we need, that the board of trustees needs to deal with.
and then we'll be on shift on the 21st. I won't be here.
Okay, at this point, the adoption of the employee handbook. Somebody would give me a motion to table that till the 21st, is that what it was?
November 7th.
November 7th?
I move that we table the adoption of the employee handbook until we get it back and review it and then can adopt it at the next board meeting. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
And that'll give us time to get that back, and then, you know what, I don't know whether we're ready to adopt on the 7th until we as trustees are comfortable with the corrections to it. So it may end up tabling that one more time, but if we could have it here on the 7th, then maybe we could adopt on the 21st. I got my dates right?
Yes. Do you want to just put adopt it on the 7th, and if we
I
need
would
to, we
just-
can just table it to the
yeah.
21st?
Yeah, I would like to, yeah. You guys okay with that?
Mhm.
I second it.
Okay, let's move forward with, I got a motion to table. I got a second over here from Kevin. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay, those opposed, motion carries. Carry forward with that. Sheriff's report, I have nothing to report there. The sheriff is not here. We'll have it in here. There's any comments on the sheriff's report at this time?
I like I made comments on
On the proposed contract?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought we might do that on the workshop on the 7th and go over that,
yeah, except,
because I'm still trying to grasp it all.
oh, we're not gonna do that. We can't do that. That's ridiculous, but when and how can we talk about it? Do we have to wait till 7th?
We do, because we haven't, I was hoping we would do it on a
I was hoping
workshop.
he'd be here to ask some questions. But I do want to clarify something. I didn't respond to you, Mike, but I disagree with your email, by the way. I think it's a contract negotiation, which means that we need to be able to talk back and forth. Not just, we're not putting it out to a whole bunch of people.
Well, at the workshop.
Do you
we could
disagree?
Probably we can have him be here.
Well, yeah, but I want to clarify before because I don't think that that's the direction that Mike wanted us to take with it, based on your email.
What I was commenting on is that when you want to buy something from somebody, I think the way to do it is to say what you want, ask them to give you a price, and then come back. What we've done in some ways is give the sheriff the advantage of figuring out how much he needs to ask to provide what he believes you want now. I don't know that he's going to come down, don't know that he isn't, but that's where the focus needs to be. Okay, what's it going to cost us for 7 days a week law enforcement services in Dove Creek? Because right now it's only 5 on his proposal.
I don't think that was his proposal, but I think that we should invite him to the workshop or else.
I do too. I want to visit with him some more.
No, I think you should. I don't have a problem with that. We need to talk this through.
Yeah,
I'm okay with that.
yeah, so maybe if we could send him an invite.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
for November 7th.
And wasn't the board gonna get a statement of what they wanted for services to the sheriff? Cause I think the ball's in our court now, if I remember correctly.
I think he was gonna write down everything that he had and then we were gonna read it together,
Yeah.
is what I.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, that's what we're doing is a negotiation back and forth. He wrote
Yeah.
down some stuff, we wrote down some stuff, we're gonna back and forth.
Then we were supposed to be waiting on him.
Okay. We'll do an invite and we'll schedule that for the 7th as well. Okay. Christie, how's your world?
Rec world is good, busy. We just wrapped up our Pee Wee football seasons. We hosted the Super Bowl on the 5th. Happy to report that our youngest team went undefeated this year and our oldest team won first place in the Super Bowl this year. So both teams had a very successful year. We'll be having a celebration party next week, so, I also have girls' basketball registration happening right now, 3rd through 6th grade. Deadline is this week, so I'm hoping that we will have at least 2 teams, to play in the Monticello League. That will start in November, and boys will be after Christmas, so a lot of people ask that, why aren't you doing boys? They will be coming, but after Christmas. We run them at separate times, opposite of middle school, because we allow 6th graders to play. That way they get to play both rec and middle school ball, so.
Can I ask a question? on
Sure.
football? How many, was it just in-town teams or did we play other teams from
Yeah,
other
no,
areas too?
we played, Moab, Mancus, and Dolores.
That's
so,
a good.
yeah.
Good sport.
It's always, we have our local Four Corners League, we always have Dolores, Mancus. Moab was new this year, but we were able to pick up some games with them, so.
And they just had a team apiece, or did they have a couple teams too?
Moab, they have a few different teams, we only played one of their teams though. So,
Okay, thank you.
sure. We also have cheer going on, that's about to wrap up. We have almost 40 little girls this year. If you've been up at the football games and stuff, you may have seen them perform. They'll be wrapping up their year with their year in performance. It's a big deal up at Memorial Hall on October 30th. So if you're around, that would be a fun thing to watch. Also been very busy with the Christmas Bazaar. That's just around the corner.
Oh, my
We'll be
goodness.
hosting that on November 2nd. We are full. We have no more spaces available. It's gonna be packed. So that's usually always a big hit. So if you're in town that day, stop by because there's gonna be lots of cool stuff, lots of unique gifts for everybody. So I also just wanted to report that the windows in the community center are almost done. They'll be done this week. They just have the windows in my office left. All the other windows on that side of the building have been completed, so yay. There was a lot of delays. Machine broke down, cut the wrong side. We had some things like that, but it is done and it looks nice. So, also, I just still been working on the outdoor basketball court, pickleball court project. I did have a meeting with Mike from GoCo, Great Outdoors Colorado. They did think that this would be a great project for one of their community impact grants. So talked with him for a while. He gave me a lot of good tips and tricks on how to make our application a little more competitive. They really want a community-driven, community input in this first part. So I'm working with Shaq, Region 9. He's going to help me design a community survey that will go out to some people. We're looking to just gather some of that information because the application will be this concept paper and a budget. So they really look highly at those projects that are very community driven. So so that's what I've been working on.
Love it. Well, any questions from the trustees? Okay. Dagan?
Is Kramer on?
Yes, he is.
Awesome. We can maybe.
Chris, are you up there?
Yes, can you hear me?
There you go, Chris. Good evening.
Oh, good. How are you guys?
Good. It's good to hear your voice.
It's been a while, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm
Okay.
still not getting my truck back the way I'm supposed to. I got in an auto accident and Kazie's had it for 3 weeks. And then I finally got it back and they're still not done with it. So it's kind of kept me at home a lot. Anyway, Dagan was going to do this presentation on the sludge removal, so I'll let him take it from here.
Well, yeah, so there's a million ways I wanted to start off this topic, is what you guys can see. But I'm pretty sure Duck Creek's full of poop. Anyway, so as you can see, I got so many more photos and videos, drone footages. What we're looking at is the sludge removal project that finally come through. We were contracted, I think it was $1 per gallon, up to 96,000 gallons hauled. If we scroll down a little bit, that's kind of at the beginning, and as we move through a little more, you'll see as the water goes away, exactly how full that pond is. If you stop right there, please. What we're seeing is 24 years of bad operations and a lack of maintenance. So you have the fermentation bit full, that's where we took the 12 truckloads, 96,000 gallons, and it didn't even touch it. According to the operators there, needed about 80 more loads out of the fermentation. When we did drop the pond level, if you in that middle picture, you can see all that is sludge outside of the fermentation pit. The fermentation pit's on the left, the open pond's on the right. That pond is completely full of poop. Operated right, that should never leave the fermentation pit with a 5-year cycle of maintenance. So yeah, we can do better. We can do better. So as you can see, somebody, and it might be Jake out there walking with me, that is a berm. This is a berm that I have never laid my eyes on. I've passed it in a boat. This is that berm there also. And as you can see, the fermentation fills up. That's where all the magic happens. That's where the bugs are. Through this little V-notch weir right there, it exits, the water's supposed to exit and go into pond 1. And that's where it continues to get the biological treatment. So Chris is gonna be trying something new. And we are gonna try to operate that on how we think it should have been operated throughout the years. That berm should never be underwater. It was about 3 feet underwater. That berm is there to divide the cells. That berm is there to perform a task. So we have been working hard. We have achieved pulling weir gates out that we've never been able to get out. But once we dewatered and was able to pump it, took the pressure off enough, now we can remove it and set that level to where we think it needs to be. Like I said, the water comes in, starts the biological treatment in the fermentation pit, and then it's supposed to move out to the pond 1, and then to pond 2, and then to pond 3, and then to the wetlands to polish it off. So what we're seeing, it was kind of a unique experience to witness. I've never got to witness sludge removal. So that machine you see back down in the pond right there is as simple could be. It runs on a PTO shaft. It causes, there's a propeller at the end. It stirs it up. They liquefy it with their own liquid in it. And then they load the trucks from that, such as maybe a weed auger. Yeah, it was super simple. I could not believe how simple it was. Like I said, not nearly enough taken out, but a little bit's better than nothing. That picture on the bottom is what I came in here for the blueprints today, because I'm trying to figure out what that is. Because it's not supposed to be there, but I think it was just an existing pipe that was capped off.
You're talking about this thing right here.
Yep, I think that was the old plant that was built in the early nineties. And it was redone in.
How many of you guys went down there?
2000.
You guys been down to the lagoons?
Yes,
Did you go see any of this?
not since it's been,
That with that fermentation pit, I'm like digging all the years, I've never seen that berm above water. It's always been below water.
We've been trying, we've lowered it about 3 to 4 feet. We had another 3 feet to go, but with the pond and everything full, we could not get them water plates out, even with a backhoe. The final black picture there is the completion of sludge removal. As you can see, we got a long ways to go, and that is just the fermentation bit. If you scroll down a little bit more, that is an aerial view, and I thought this was important to get because we could actually see the deficiency in the plant. You can see the lack of maintenance. All this is sludge, every bit of it. So the water has what we call a short cycle, and it runs right out into here. It goes out. That water is supposed to, throughout the whole process, pond 1, 2, and 3, the wetlands, it should remain in treatment for about 23 to 27 days. As we can see, being so full of sludge, we're not getting near the biological treatment. It's going straight here. This is an interesting picture. This right here shows the exit of a perforated pipe. So that perforated, so it leads here, comes to a perforated pipe and comes out over here in pond 2. We was kind of new. When you're looking at drawings here, you never have a set that says final drawings. They all say preliminary, so you don't know which one's exactly right. So we was able to learn a little bit more. We went ahead and maintenance that while we could see it, because I do think it was completely covered in sludge, holding the pond levels higher also. I think that was some of the problem, but until we remove, all this is completely sludge. All that really needs to be removed. And my opinion, just my opinion, all that needs to be removed before cover even goes on. Or we even think about a cover, we need to get that out of there. So I would ask Mr. Kramer to maybe get with Caitlin and see if we can revamp the timeline and let them know exactly what we're up against. I mean, honesty is the best policy when it comes to CDPHE. And if they were to see this, they would, I think, agree with me, a cover's moving too fast, because you're gonna have to remove the cover, get it all out, because this is your ultimately your treatment and your water quality. And you can see we're not getting it. Did I miss anything, Chris?
No, I think you've got it right. The fact of the matter is that because of that gate was cemented in, you couldn't change the level whatsoever. We were totally unaware of the fact this has always been that way. I mean, the water level has always been above the berm. I could never saw the berm ever. And the other thing that was relatively new is the way that it exits pond 1, the way the effluent exits pond 1 through that perf pipe. We want to make sure that thing does not have any blockage in it, because during spring runoff or places like, during spring runoff, we tend to get a lot of water if we've had a good snow melt in town. We do have I&I problems. in town. And that's probably why the level went up so high in the past when we had a huge snow melt here a couple years ago, I believe. So I think by doing this first stage of removing this sludge, that's a significant accomplishment. But we should try to get another load done, preferably next year, and hold off. I would think we definitely need another load of sludge removed. I'm not quite sure how we're going to handle the sludge in the other part of cell 1. That level in the big cell 1, not the fermentation pit, that level of water is only like 5 feet. So, you can see if you got sludge in there that, you're really taking up some room. You only have 5 feet. When it comes to the fermentation pit is like 15 feet. So it's really deep and all that. But I think, by getting this first load done, even though it took 5 years to finally get somebody to show up at Dove Creek, if the board, since you're talking about budget, that, we should look at doing another 100,000 gallons of sludge next year. This method that this outfit used, I've never seen this happen before. I've been involved in sludge removal at prior places and all that, and this one here is just as easy as can be. They basically just take the truck, go down to New Mexico somewhere, and they've got some land down there that they've made an agreement with, and they dump it there. Before they did Dove Creek, they actually went to the town of Mancos, who I used to work for, and they removed in sludge 750,000 gallons out of the town of Mancos, out of two separate ponds in their lagoon system. So they had a much cheaper rate than what the town of Dove Creek got, but I would assume it's a matter of that traveling. They take a truck, they load it up with the sludge, and then they're basically going all the way down to New Mexico and back. And maybe that's why your price was $1 in comparison to Mancos's, which was probably about half that cost.
So on that, I would agree with Chris. So yes, Mancos had a huge project going on. And I do believe that's how we got to ride a little bit of their coattails. And we was able to remove the 12 truckloads. It started at 10, told them, man, is that it? They said, well, we'll do 12. And I do believe it was because we were kind of riding on their permit, their existing permit, because they have to put all the permitting in place for land applications. But I do believe you can find certain people that may be interested in that around here. But no, I think getting on their list, because I'm looking at that thinking there's got to be 150 loads there if you was to empty the fermentation pit and the pond, and then work towards number 2, because after seeing pond 1, pond 2 is certain also. But
This perforated pipe floats pretty high on the surface as I was looking at it the other day. Is that correct?
it's
So it skims the top while all this is working underneath. So it goes from here, but have you checked to see if, obviously it's a restriction in this line. If that's that old, do we need to be thinking about replacing that as it goes to pond 2?
No, it's good plastic pipe. You can see it really good today. And today we took the jet truck, the big jet truck, and we serviced that whole line. It is not compromised at all. I don't think there's any weakness. Wouldn't be concerned about that at all. The thing
underneath there, Dave, is there something supporting that pipe?
I tried to find the detail sheet today and I could not. I was trying to see, yes, what holds that underwater? Because just curious, after you see it, you gotta find it. I was unable to find that detail sheet on the plans. But that said, if Chris continues to maybe running that, where that berm is dividing pond one and the fermentation pit, the level of that pond, I'm guessing, is only gonna be about 3 feet deep. And that's
Where?
that's,
Where?
yes, outside of that fermentation pit.
You're
So,
talking about out
so all
here?
this would be about 3 feet deep. Now, when you're gonna run it like that, you're gonna see exposed sludge everywhere. But I think that is the correct procedure on how to run that. The fermentation, you do not want oxygen in it. You want oxygen to hit as soon as it leaves, and that's kind of what you see here with all the air. So with it over full, anytime the wind changes directions, which we take advantage of that and we aqua shade it. We treat the pond with the wind, but it shouldn't go back and forth across that fermentation pit. What leaves the fermentation pit should stay out. It's already been biologically treated by the bugs. It was the start of the process. It should move on down the line and not rotate back in. So I think it's gonna be a huge learning curve. I think it's gonna be an advantage, but I think you're gonna see declining water quality numbers as we've witnessed this year. Because of the lack of volume of water it can hold. I mean, it's full of sludge. It can't get the treatment. So
Is this cover, are they wanting to cover the fermentation pit and this? Or are they wanting to cover just on the 3 foot of water?
So, and Chris might correct me, but my thought is the whole intent of the cover and the whole theory behind it is to keep that influent water in the fermentation pit 40 degrees. So the cover really, to me, is only necessary over the pit. But I don't know how the state will see that. It's not what we proposed, but we get to see a little different picture now that we get to actually see the true design of this thing. Agree, disagree, Chris?
Somewhat, there's other advantages to a cover besides keeping the temperature warmer. The fact of the temperature warmer means that we ought to be able to reduce the ammonia. And that's basically why the state has been going after us to begin with. It's all about ammonia. So, yes, having a cover over the fermentation pit is definitely an advantage. As far as having a cover over the rest of the cell number one, I'm not sure whether or not we need to approach that. I think we need to study it a little bit and look at some engineering on there. The other thing that you have with the cover is you prevent algae. You don't have the sunlight. So, but if we were to, and the state has talked about this, that after the berm, when the water leaves the fermentation pit, is that you want to be able to introduce immediately air or oxygen to that water when it enters number one. The part, not the fermentation pit, but the rest of number one. When you are able to mix air and have it agitated and all that, that basically keeps algae actually from forming. So it's something to be looked at, whether or not we want to put a whole cover on the whole thing. We may want to approach the state and say, look, we want to get rid of some more sludge. And if the board approves, doing another load of sludge next year, if we can get someone to come and haul it out, that's the other problem. We waited 5 years for this. Then we could actually maybe have a cover put into place in a couple of years, rather than a year from now. So we're going to have to discuss that with them. We talked with the state about a project of nanobubbles, and the information and the data that I got from Wechter Engineering, what I saw from him, and in discussing it with one of the vendors that sells the nanobubble stuff, I believe that I don't think we're ready for introducing nanobubbles into a lagoon system right now. I don't see it. They want too many gallons per minute in order to go through that nanobubble project. And I think we're just going to have to wait till the technology gets a little bit more advanced in wastewater treatment. So I really don't see the nanobubble project taking off. Maybe 4 or 5 years from now, but I don't see it at all. I do see the cover. The cover is an advantage to have. Even though you have a lot of sludge still in the fermentation pit, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a detriment. But there is quite a bit of sludge still in there. There's more than what I suspected, and I believe that what happened is when we looked at depth levels and all that, we weren't able to get on the sides, as they slope in on that fermentation pit. So we kind of had a misnomer about what the depth was of that sludge. And we really didn't have any kind of idea of how much sludge there was in pond number 1 either. So, and that's a problem about how we're gonna handle that, because there is no cover on cell number 1. It's dirt. The ground. It's not that, but maybe they can pump out some in the future out of there. It would certainly help the treatment process. Either way, we need to look and see if we can get more sludge out. I don't think 90,000 gallons was near enough to take out of the system.
I think it's probably an easy sell to the CDPHE if it's possible. I believe that we need to remove some more sludge before we can have a good effect, especially if we're chasing ammonia. And that's why
Yes, sir.
that's what started all this, is ammonia is too high past the cattails. The next question I have, Dagan, is on our timeline that they have presented to you and Chris. Go down to the last 5 cells with the cattails. Are they still wanting you to remove some of those yet this fall?
So that was one of the treatment options. Yes, there's so many timelines that we're lapsing on.
Yeah. That's why honesty with CDPHE is our best medicine to
Yep.
change that, alter that timeline to.
And, really, and I do think it would be a benefit to not necessarily replant the cattails, but remove the years of dead growth. And I don't know how you do that. That I was always curious how you're gonna do that, because they were lying. It would be one thing, you just set a match down there, have you guys watch it burn them, but you have liner underneath. And I don't think that would be feasible. But to replant them, they're well established. I hate to disturb that, but I do think the organics that you're getting from the dead is definitely fooling with your numbers. But the way the DSD read is we would do that, and if we seen good results, we would continue. I would just recommend cleaning them out.
Question, didn't my dad and Zach design some kind of attachment to a backhoe bucket
Yes.
to do that and not tear up the liner?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Not by their separations, not by the way they run in parallel, you can't get to them. The last time we did that little project in there, we had to repair liners, we had to repair broken pipes, we had to repair, it was ugly. Ugly, but there is still a bucket down there.
It seems like we rid of all liner several places when we did it the last time. We had to go refix the liner. Wasn't pretty.
And, and I don't know when you're doing that, because you not only the dead growth, you also have a layer of earth, you have rocks. And that's how we're kind of operating them now, is the same sequence as what you see in that picture of the fermentation pit. You have the first parallel cells high above the rocks, and then the next cell, it goes back to subsurface and it rolls over the rocks, introducing oxygen back to it, because that's the whole key is oxygen, as Chris said. So I don't know what the best route is for that.
Yeah, and that process is what the state was looking at recommending or approving was to do one wetland cell a year. So not where you get in and do all five. It's, one at a time out of, and you have five. So, but in regards to how to do it, I think there has to be some research done. And see what the best, what's the best solution on rehabbing that, a cell on, how do you do it? I have no idea what the best procedure is. You're gonna have to investigate and find out what's out there, because I'm sure other places have done this.
In your conversation with them, are you guys proposing to defer any work on those cells and have the board move towards budgeting money for another sludge removal? Is that what I'm hearing? Or is that even
I
possible?
say if we could run an option, yeah. I tell you, I emptied one of them by hand one time. But that was a lot, and I know you don't have the crew to do it now. But no, I actually took a gas fired weed eater and cleaned one of those one time. And that's a lot with one of those saw blades you use in the state.
Those are seated in what, 3 and 4 inch minus?
Yeah,
I'm just wondering if, something like a mini X that has claw, if it had bars that could kind of pick and grab, because the cattails will recover themselves if you don't pull them all, right?
yes.
And so if you can just get something in there, maybe even with a sharp blade or something that you can kind of,
Like a flosser, right?
Yeah,
That's it.
I was thinking, how do you get a flail chopper in there? Because that's what you really need, a
Right.
flail chopper, but I don't know.
I mean, they make those that go on excavators.
Yeah,
I mean, like 3 foot wide or?
yeah, it wouldn't have to be that big, just something that you could go in there with, an excavator. It'd be nice if you had one that would fit on a mini X, and then it would be a lot nicer to that whole area
Try
down
to
there.
get in and around.
Just get a mini X down there and just.
Which,
do that stuff up.
you a 3 footer, remember, we had a chance to buy that tractor from the county that came to 12 mower. But that was a long time ago. You might remember it. When the county sold their tractor. And I was always a fan of that because you could do the reservoir and other things, but
I don't remember that. That might have been before me.
Okay.
With that said, I wanna thank you, everybody, for your support and what we've done, where we came. But tonight will probably be the last time you see me. Not saying I'm totally out of everything, but I think there's decisions that need to be made. I no longer choose to be an employee.
Are you still wanting to entertain a contractor position?
Yes. Right now, yes. I would.
We'll have the board get together and we'll work out those differences.
Okay.
Okay, what about the water treatment plant on the updates up there as far as the upgrades?
So, yeah, like I said, crazy time to be going through this. As we all know, we brought deadlines. As of the 16th, we'll be in violation for lead service lines. We did not get that accomplished. And I could not get to it last week. That's when CDPHE will start sending out notices. I don't know how the violation looks. But that's the least of our worries when we have projects like this that's been needing to be done. I think we focus on those. The next one is the completion of the water plant upgrade and the automation. That starts the 28th. Again, if you wanted me to be a part of it, I'd love to. It's totally up to you guys.
October 28th is when that's supposed to
That's
start.
filter tech. I have electricians in line to be there also. Speaking with Lorraine earlier, we have a couple of people we can throw. There's two parts we can change out before that date, but there's only two parts. The rest of it has to wait for the computer programming and the control panels to be rebuilt and reprogrammed and the algorithm set on how they operate. So that the filter tech would have to be here when we disassemble and reassemble with the new parts. The downfall is, we know with the one tank, we only have a short window to do this piece, get it back online, make water. We gotta do this piece, get it back on. It's gonna be a process, kind of like rebuilding a filter bus. It took a lot of planning. It took a lot of work. It's gonna be tough.
Okay. Okay, anything else taken?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Lorraine?
You got my clerk's report. It's mostly done. I worked on it today for a little bit. Just trying to keep my head above water and trying to keep everything rolling. Being short staff, we received one application for the part-time temp, and I called her today and she had already gotten another job. So we have no applicants for that, and we've just got a couple for the maintenance tech in that are complete. There's several that didn't follow the directions.
Okay. I've got nothing to report at the moment. Municipal court, anything there, Lorraine, Mike?
We're working well. The judge, Mr. McLaren has applied to be the county court judge in Montezuma County. That gets decided, I heard a rumor sometime late this week, maybe Friday. And then we'll know whether we have to get another judge or not. He says he'll be able to do the November court date, was what he said in court the other day. But we're waiting to see how successful he is or not with that application. And then everything is just moving through. We're getting defaults, we're getting tickets. The code enforcement, we're working on it to motivate people to get things done. The sheriff's been cooperative. And we'll just keep moving forward.
Okay, before I move into executive session, Chris, ambulance district, they were gonna make a request of us, is that right? I mean, as far as budgeting, is there something the board needs to be contemplating? Is there?
I don't think you're here for the ambulance, are you?
No, he's not. He's
Okay.
not. I was just trying to think if it's not in
The
their budget.
ambulance is on.
Damon up there? Well, if he is or not.
Hey, yeah, it's me.
Damon, on your budget issues, is there something the board needs to be looking at?
I think I'll just bring up kind of the same thing we brought up to the county where, dependent on if the sales tax passes or not, we may be, I guess if it passes, we won't get anything until July. And our request to them was just kind of providing some sort of umbrella for the beginning part of the year next year. They took some out of, or they talked about taking some out of lodging tax to help us. I mean, it's nothing to decide right now, but that's just kind of the position we're in on making sure that we can still stay staffed until financials start coming back in again.
What is the public response to your request? Have you done any kind of surveying? Are you feeling good about it or not?
Based off of the people that we've been talking to, we've been going to the high school football games and volleyball games and been talking to people. It seems like for the most part, everybody's saying yes. We've had a few people that, have said no and we've swayed, I feel. And then we've had a few that have said no for a variety of reasons.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, Damien, what kind of money are we talking about?
I mean, for us, looking at where we're at right now, I think that we can probably make it through January and part of February. So it'd be at least the rest of February, March, and I think in April is when we start seeing funding come in from the mill levies. If the county is able to do the lodging tax, it'd probably be less than 10,000 to get us through the rest of that.
I'm just wondering, if we're gonna try to budget something, we need to try to figure out what kind of number that looks like. You know what I mean?
Right. And I figured out what we're at right now today, and was trying to figure out how far that'll make us. Based on averages during every pay period, we should get to, like I said, mid-February to the end of February. And then that last one or two pay periods. So we're looking at about 11,000 a pay period every 2 weeks. We've been seeing like increased return on our billing, which has been nice. And we've been able to get some grants and some donations sent our way. And I think that's why we're in the position to make it a lot closer to when the mill levy starts coming in, rather than we were feeling tight, like we weren't going to make it to January next year. So I think we're slowly getting farther and farther out.
And if the sales tax doesn't pass,
We're trying to figure out contingency plans for if it doesn't pass. Our mill levies decreased yet again, and to the point where 24-hour service may not be sustained. We've been looking for volunteers, and I've had multiple applicants from people outside of the area, which would require shift work volunteering. And I don't know how well that's going to go over either. But I just don't see it being a sustainable method either. I don't know. It's hard to tell what the future looks like for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Christy and Chris, for coming. We need to go ahead and Make a motion to move into executive session if you don't mind.
Was Chris here for any reason? Oh, you're just here to listen?
Just to observe.
Okay, thank you. Well, Chris, there's a way for you to sort of know your outside city limits too. God damn
It
it.
was a lot nicer being at this meeting than the commission.
Thank you.
It's good seeing you. Thank you.
Good night.
Hopefully we're a little nicer and better at our jobs than the county commissioners. Yes, I said that out loud in the public meeting. You're gonna yell at me?
Somebody want to make a motion?
Make a
Oh,
motion, we
yeah.
go to executive session.
I'll second it.
Motion second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Let the record show that no action was taken as far as decisions. Motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.